Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Talk Sports Show with host Alec Pecado. Today, on December 6th, 2023, today's show, I'll be going over my NFL cover picks, upsets, game picks, college basketball upsets, NHL and NBA picks. So let's get started here. Here's my NFL cover picks for this week. My first cover is the Ravens -7 to cover the point spread against the Rams. Now, you may be saying, why are you picking against the Rams? And there's one reason I'm picking against them. The Ravens are one of the teams that I refuse to put them on upset alert or pick against them and pick somebody else unless they're playing Kansas City or the Eagles. So that is why I have the Ravens -7 to cover the point spread against the Rams. Now, the second one you're looking at is the Texans -5.5 to cover against the Jets. Now, here's my theory behind why I have the Texans covering -5. They did win last week, but they lost Tank Dell. And I wasn't high on the Texans before the season. I've hopped on that train. I'm on the Texans hype train. I think they can have a good rest of the season. And now that Trevor Lawrence is possibly out for a couple weeks, we don't know yet. I like the Texans to win the AFC South. Now, you can call me crazy, but I like the Texans here to cover. And I don't think it's going to be a particularly close game at all. I think the Texans are going to just destroy the Jets. And my last cover this week is the Saints -5 to cover the point spread against the Panthers. Now, I could see an avenue where the Panthers upset New Orleans, but I don't think it happens because the Panthers are terrible. And I think we've all recognized that. And if we haven't recognized it yet, we saw it last week against the Buccaneers. And I'm going to say this. I feel bad for Bryce Young. He is turning into the second version of Sam Howell. He's only a rookie. And when I say he's turning into the second version of Sam Howell, no offensive line, doesn't get any time. He gets sacked or pressured constantly. And that is why I like the Saints here to cover -5. Now, here's my upsets this week. And in the comments, I'd like to know if you agree with my upsets or if you disagree. My first upset is the Buccaneers +2.5 to upset the Falcons. Now, I know what some people are going to say here. They're going to say, oh, the only reason you're picking the Bucks is because the Buccaneers is because they're your favorite team. No. I actually think the Buccaneers can win this game and upset Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't scare me as much as other teams in the NFC do. Atlanta, don't get me wrong, they have a reasonably good defense. I say reasonably because there's only 2 or 3 guys on that defense I can name. Jeff Okudah, AJ Terrell, Jarrett, Caden Ellis, Arnold Ebiketie, and that's it. Now, the Buccaneers did not. The one negative about this upset is the Buccaneers on defense. They looked okay last week without three linebackers. They didn't have Devin White, they didn't have Levante David, and they didn't have Savasier Dennis. I think all three of them, or two out of the three, will be back this week for Atlanta. I don't think they wanted to play him against Carolina and have them risk getting hurt. So that I think if all three of them back, this upset has a higher chance of happening. And right now, for an upset, I give this an 8 out of 10. Now, this next upset, you might call me a little bit wacko for it. I've got the Bills plus 2.5 to upset Kansas City. And on my upset meter, this is probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Which the Chiefs did lose last week to Green Bay. And I think Buffalo will beat Kansas City somehow. Whether it be a defensive touchdown or something like that, I just think the Bills will win this game somehow. And my last upset is the Broncos plus 3 to upset the Chargers. Now, hear me out. If you watched, I'm going to circle back to last week. If you watched the Chargers-Patriots game last week, I understand the Broncos aren't as bad as the Patriots, but look at how many points were scored in that Chargers-Patriots game. Only 6. Now, I think there's going to be a lot more points scored in the Broncos-Chargers game than there was in the Patriots-Chargers game. So, and I think it's going to be the Broncos winning this game and upsetting the Chargers, who are 3-point favorites. I have the Broncos plus 3 to pull the upset here. And now, here are my game picks for the NFL and some best bets. My first game pick is the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Now, I gave you a little hint as to who my pick was going to be. It's going to be the Buccaneers. And like I said, the Falcons don't, how do I say this? The Falcons don't particularly scare me with how they play. I'm not afraid. Drake London, don't get me wrong, he's a good receiver. But until they get a reliable QB, I'm sorry, Desmond Ridder is not a reliable quarterback. He turns the ball over a lot, which if you're betting on games, I would take Desmond Ridder. If there's an interception prop on whatever site you bet on, I would take the over. If it's set at a half an interception, I would easily take the over because I think the Buccaneers defense will intercept at least one pass from Desmond Ridder this week, and the Buccaneers will win. I'm going to say final score will be 35-21 Tampa Bay. Rams and Ravens is the next game, and I think, now, I did say I have the Ravens covering, and I like them to cover here. I do think this is going to be a very high-scoring game, and I like the Ravens to win it 35-28 and cover the spread. No, 42-28 Baltimore. They cover the spread, and they win by more than 7 points, which means you get the cover and you go about your day. Lions and Bears is the next one. And now this one's interesting because they just played a couple weeks ago, and the Bears had the lead with just around 5 minutes left in the game, and the Bears ended up losing. But that was a couple weeks ago, and I did take the Lions then, and they ended up winning. So, if my memory serves me correct, who am I going to take? I'm taking the Lions to beat the Bears. And the thing for the Bears is, if they keep losing, they might get the second overall pick. But I doubt it because I think New England's going to keep losing out. And just a little hint, you may see two Patriots plays in my best bets at the end of my picks. But anyway, I have the Lions winning this game 42-28. Colts and Bengals is the next game. And I have the Bengals winning this game. I like Minshew Mania, but Jake Money Browning. That's the nickname I've coined for him. He's been a backup his whole career, and now he's getting a chance to start with the Bengals with Burrow being out. Game 35-28. Now, this next game I had difficulty picking it. At the beginning of the week, Monday and Tuesday. No, Sunday and Monday, I had the Jags winning. But when I watched the Jags game Monday night and Trevor Lawrence got hurt, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to go with the Browns because they're at home. They're in the dog pound. And, I mean, Flacco's going to be the starting quarterback because unless DTR clears concussion protocol. But I still like the Browns to win this game. I'm sorry, Jags fans. It's disappointing that your quarterback got hurt. Like I say every day when I do these, I don't wish injuries upon anybody. Speedy recovery. My thoughts and prayers go out to you, Trevor Lawrence. Speedy recovery. We hope to get you back by the end of the season. Now, my next one is the Texans and Jets. And this was one of my cover picks. Was the Texans. And if y'all haven't watched Fantasy Football Review / Waiver Wire, I'd recommend watching it because I have talked about CJ Stroud a lot. And when he was under 80% rostered in fantasy, I kept telling y'all to pick him up. And if y'all picked him up, you're probably in the playoffs now. And you can thank me for giving you that good advice to pick up CJ Stroud. But anyway, back to the picks. So, I like the Texans in this game. The Jets, they're in QB dilemma. Tim Boyle was their starter last week. Then he got benched for Trevor Siemian. And then they cut Tim Boyle. And they signed Trevor Siemian's going to be the backup. But then they signed Brett Rippon. And now they want Zach Wilson to be the starter again. I don't understand the Jets. That is why I have the Texans winning, and I have them winning big. I think they put up a 40 burger and win 42-7 against the Jets. Now let's get to the 4:00 games. So the first one is the Broncos and Chargers. I have the Broncos winning this game. I do think there will be a little ounce of defense in this game, but not a lot. I have the Broncos winning 35-21. Russell Wilson throws for 3 touchdowns, 1 to Cortland Sutton, 1 to Javonte Williams, and 1 to Jerry Jeudy. Seahawks 49ers is the next game. I think this is going to be one of the games of the week maybe. But I think the 49ers win a really hard fought game, 35 to 28, with both quarterbacks throwing for at least 3 touchdowns. Bills and Chiefs. Obviously, I'm picking the Bills because they're one of my upset picks. And I like the Bills to win this game by the same score I gave you for Seahawks 49ers, 35-28. I think Josh Allen throws for 3 touchdowns. He does have an interception because I think the Chiefs will force him into a bad throw and get a free interception. But like I said, 3 touchdowns, 1 to Stephon Diggs, 1 to Gabe Davis, and 1 to Dalton Kincaid. And I think James Cook rushes for, I'm going to say 65 to 70 yards and a touchdown. The last 4 o'clock game, Raiders-Vikings. I like how the Raiders have been playing since Antonio Pierce took over as the head coach. And I think the Raiders end up winning this game. It's a home game. So Allegiant Stadium is going to be rocking. I think the Raiders win this game 35-21. Aiden O'Connell has a breakout game and proves why he can be the future number 1 QB for the Raiders. Now, this is the game of the week. Eagles-Cowboys, first place on the line in the NFC East. And I want to hear who y'all have winning this game in the comment section down below. If you feel the same way I do, I have the Eagles winning this game. The Cowboys beat up on good teams, but bad teams. But when they play a good team, they struggle. And that is why I have the Eagles winning this game 35-21. Now, I could be way off with the score. It could be a higher scoring game. But I still have the Eagles winning regardless. Like I said, in the comments down below, comment who you think is going to win this game and what the final score is going to be. Now, here are my best bets for the NFL this week. My first best bet, and this is a juicy one that I think can hit tomorrow night. Patriots, Steelers. I like take the Patriots under team total 21.5 points. The Patriots cannot score. They have one of the worst offenses in the NFL. And you may see another pick on my best bets for the Patriots here in a second. Just thought I'd give you that little teaser. But anyway, the Patriots have a really good defense, but they cannot, like I said, they can't score points. They're terrible when it comes to scoring. So I like their team total under 21.5 points. My second best bet is take the Lions to cover -3 against the Bears. I like this cover. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the Lions are going to win this game. I don't know if it's going to be easy win, but they'll win, and I think they cover the -3. Now, personally, my last bet for this week is my favorite one. And it is take Zeke Elliott over 58.5 rushing yards. I did the same thing with McCaffrey last week, but his was a little higher. And he went over his rushing prop, which for McCaffrey was 78.5 yards. Now, I'm doing the same thing here with Zeke. And there's one reason I really like this prop bet. And it's because Zeke is going to be the number 1 running back this week for the Patriots because Ramondre Stevenson is out. So I love the over 58.5 rushing yards for Ezekiel Elliott this week. Now, here are some NHL picks and bets I like. Stars and Panthers. My pick is the Panthers. The bet in this game is take the Panthers puck line -1.5, which is basically the same thing as a point spread. But what you're doing here is you're taking the -1.5, which means the Panthers need to win by 2 or more goals, and I think they can. The Stars just played last night against the Lightning and lost. Or no, I think it was Monday. The Lightning played Dallas on Monday. It's either Monday or Tuesday, and Dallas lost to the Lightning. So here is my second pick, and it's the Lightning and Penguins. And my pick is the Lightning, and my bet is take over 6.5 goals. These two teams just played about a week ago, and Lightning lost 4-2, and the goal total was under 6.5 goals, and they almost hit the over. It was a push because they had 6. The total was 6 goals, and the over-under was 6.5, so it pushed, which meant if you bet on the game, you didn't lose money, you didn't win money. It was right down the middle. It was push. But I like over 6.5 goals in this game tonight. Next one is the Blues and the Golden Knights. And I'm taking the Blues to win this game. And I'm taking the bet in this game is Blues money line +130. And I think you can win some money taking the money line for the Blues here. Now, the Golden Knights are the defending Stanley Cup champions, so I could see where the Golden Knights win this game somehow, but I could also see where the Blues upset them. And my last hockey pick is Hurricanes versus Oilers, and I'm taking the Hurricanes. And the bet to take in this game is the Hurricanes puck line +1.5. Which means the Hurricanes have to win by 2 or more goals. And I can see that happening because the Oilers, I'm not going to say they're the worst team in the NHL, but they're one of them. They fired Jay Woodcroft like a month and a half, 2 months ago. But now, and they hired a coach that was Connor McDavid's coach in juniors. But I like the Hurricanes to win. Now here's some NBA picks. My first one is the Orlando Magic versus Cleveland Cavaliers. The pick here is I'm taking the Magic +4.5 to cover the spread and win, and I like over 222.5 here as the like I said, I like the over in this game, 222.5 points. And the last one is the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Houston Rockets. I like the Thunder and take the Thunder money line -180 and take over 226.5 points. Whew. And now the last thing I'm going to talk about today is here's my college basketball upset picks. My first upset pick is Campbell +13.5 to upset Davidson. Now, if you know me, I like picking against Davidson. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I hope that it works this time, because if it doesn't, I'm done picking against them because they will have haunted me 2 or 3 times, and I don't like that. But I like Campbell here to pull the upset. Second upset pick is, you might have seen it. I had to do some spacing on it. Is Lipscomb plus 4.5 to upset Belmont. I know a lot about Lipscomb as they are in the Atlantic Sun with the school I went to, University of North Florida. I think Lipscomb pulls the upset here. Guard play and scoring is the name of their game. Penn State and Maryland is the next one, and I have Penn State plus 7.5 to upset Maryland. I picked Maryland last week to upset Indiana in Assembly Hall, and that didn't work. Now I'm going the other way. I'm picking Penn State here plus 7.5 to upset Maryland on Maryland's home court, which I think could happen. My first cover for college basketball this week, for tonight, is Ohio State minus 23.5 to cover the spread against Miami of Ohio. I like this cover a lot. Ohio State has covered twice when I've used them as a cover pick. I'm 2-1 using them as a cover pick, and I've used them as a cover pick once, and they've covered, and then I've used them as an upset pick once, and they hit. So I like Ohio State here to cover minus 23.5. My second cover pick is Fordham minus 18.5 to cover the spread against NJIT. Now, I did know a lot about NJIT because for a little bit they were in the A-Sun, but then they moved over to a different conference because it was closer. Logistically, it was closer to where they were. So that means that I like Fordham here to cover minus 18.5, and I think this is going to be a really good game. And this last cover is a juicy one. It's Richmond plus 2.5 to cover against Northern Iowa. Yum, yum, yum. I absolutely love the cover here. Plus 2.5 for Richmond. Northern Iowa is decent in basketball, but I could see Richmond covering here with the plus 2.5. So if you feel generous, take Richmond plus 2.5 to cover. And before I sign off, ladies and gentlemen, I offer memberships. And the memberships start at 99 cents a month. That's the cheapest one, $2.99 and $9.99. And I just updated the perks for the memberships last night. The two cheapest ones, the $2.99 one and the $9.99 one. $9.99 you get meet and greets. And the $2.99 one, you get to connect with me on social media through Instagram and Snapchat. So if you would feel also generous, please purchase a membership, because I'm trying to get to 10 members by the end of the year so we can start a Discord server with all the members of the Talk Sports family where we can all conversationalize outside of YouTube. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up for me today. I will see y'all tomorrow with two videos. One is the normal video, the Talk Sports show, and at 3 o'clock tomorrow, 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow, I think I said 3 o'clock. It's either 3 or 4. We have episode 2 of the San Jose Sharks franchise. And I've seen the polls, and an overwhelming majority of you want Mackenzie Blackwood to be our starting goalie for the Sharks going forward. And thank you to everybody that has voted on the community polls. Please continue to do so. And also on the community polls, leave your feedback on the videos for Sharks franchise and Falcons franchise. And if you haven't seen the schedule for next week for YouTube, I will pull it up right now before I bid you adieu and sign off for the day. Here is the YouTube schedule for next week. 12/11 to 12/15. So next Monday night, we've got the Falcons franchise at 10 o'clock, season 1 off season. Tuesday, fantasy football review / waiver wire. Wednesday, NFL picks at 11 a.m. Next Thursday at 12 p.m. At noon, NFL mock draft. And then at 4 o'clock next Thursday is Sharks Sharks franchise episode 3 at 4 o'clock. And next Friday is CBK upsets at noon. And next Friday, you might get Falcons franchise next Friday afternoon, probably around 4 o'clock. And it'll be the preseason for season 2. Preseason season 2. And final rosters for season 2 of Falcons franchise. But, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't do it for me, because I'm going to show you how you purchase a membership. So, the way you purchase a membership is you see this this button right here. Click on it. And you click on whichever membership you want. There's 3 different levels, like I said. And click on whichever membership level you want. And that is how you purchase a membership. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for me today. I will see y'all tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day. I'm out. Peace.